I love you with my heart, with my soul, with every fiber of my entire being. How are you feeling right now, beautiful soul? So today, I wanted to share my feelings on the injection that separated the soul. Over these last weeks, months, we've received so many emails, messages at Star Magic asking, how can we reverse the effects of the injection? You know what I'm talking about. I've had it, and now I realize that it was a mistake. My husband had the injection and didn't tell me about it. We made love. What am I going to do? Because they only needed to inject a certain percentage of the human population. Because what is in that vaccine will spread through bodily fluids. Saliva, sexual intercourse, sneezing, droplets of human bodily fluids going into the other person's mouth. This thing is ruthless, deadly, and we as a human species are spreading it. A little bit like HIV back in the day. A man-made, created virus. There are other people saying, Jerry, I've had the injection. Because otherwise I was going to lose my job. I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse. I've had the first injection on such and such date, and the second one is coming up. If I don't take it, I'm going to lose my job. Please, after the second date, will you help me reverse the effects? Now, if I was to do that, I would become a part of the problem. Because what these doctors and nurses should be doing, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, and the truth doesn't give a fuck about opinions. The truth does not give a fuck about opinions. Beautiful soul. Regardless of the opinion, regardless of the truth. If I was to help a sister or a brother out that was in a position of potential power, where they could say no to authority, where they could say no to the system, and stand up for their sovereignty and their human rights, I would become a part of the problem. And as a human that cares about other humans, it's really difficult to say no to people when they're coming to you and saying, please, Jerry, help me. It's a real tough situation. And we've had so many people, hundreds of people. If I wanted to make money, and this was all about money, I'd say yes to all these people. Because some of them are offering silly amounts of money to help them through this process. But I've said no every time. And some people might think, well, you don't really care about humanity, Jerry. You're full of shit. If you cared, you'd help them. No, look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is sovereignty and freedom. And we have to stand in our truth and our power and our authenticity. There are scientists who helped create what goes inside these injections, saying that people have a 2-year lifespan once it's inside of them. If you have the second or the third, it reduces it more. Exactly how much, who knows? But it reduces it under the 2-year time frame. So people haven't got long. And this information's starting to come out. There are men and women that have come to me and said, listen, Jerry, my wife had it, or my husband had it, or my girlfriend or my boyfriend. They didn't tell me and I've slept with them. Please help. In that situation, when it's honest and truthful, I've stepped in and I've helped. I had a nurse contacted me and tell me that she wanted me to help her after her second injection. I said I can't do it because I'll be part of the problem, like I just explained. She said, I tell you what, help me and I will walk. I will leave my job. I will stand in my truth. I said, okay, I'm prepared to help. If we don't stick together and rise like lions and lionesses and take control of this situation, it's only going to get worse. Millions of people have been injected already. Millions. Now, what happens to the human body when this injection goes into it? I'm going to try and explain this from my perspective as a facilitator of healing. When I've seen people that have had this injection, and believe you me, once it's inside of you, it goes to work real fast. And you see this like build up around the spinal column. It's like these, I see them as this blue mass that kind of, like all these little bits and pieces that congregate and glue together and form all the way up the spinal column, and they surround it. And somehow they're plugging in to the electromagnetics of the nervous system, the spinal column. They're going into the spinal fluid. And then through the spinal column, they're spreading throughout the nervous system. And you can see the body, it starts to change. The energy around this mass starts to go grey. And then if you look at the person, or the human's energy fields, that word person's no good, but it slipped out of my mouth. Humans. When you look at the human's energy field, when you look at a normal energy field, someone that's in a high vibrational state, it's a fluid, geometrical, spiralized, encoded light bubble that has many, many layers that extends out into the space. And obviously it has the geometrical components too. You've got your torus field and your Merkaba, your octahedron, the icosahedron, various components that expand. All of these geometries come in a spiralized, fluid, moving fashion. None of them are stagnant, and the colors are exquisite, and you can see the different layers. Now, when someone has had the injection, that changes. The energy field starts to lose its color. And you can see there's this, the best way to describe it is like a dull vortex that is opened in the energy field. And it could be a meter, it could be several meters away from whoever you're working with. And you can see the essence of the human being pulled through that. There's like this detachment. It's like it's being sucked somewhere. This is how I see it when I am working on other people. Now, this hole may not be behind them, to the left, to the right. It could be up above, it could be down below, it could just be there in the field. Because when everything's quantum, everything is in the same space at the same time. But what is very clear and very apparent is that something is breaking away. But it doesn't happen straight away. It starts with the build-up of these little kind of particles, molecules, like this blue stuff. It looks like a coral reef. It's like a blue coral reef forming around the spinal column. And it's thick. You see the first layer, the second layer, the third layer, and it grows out. and it expands. I've worked on people that have had the injection literally within hours, and you can see the build-up. It's pretty intense. After a few days, it gets even thicker. After 4, 5, 6 days, maybe a week, you start to see this grayness appear in the field. You can see inside the brain, there are these little things that build up, like little atoms or little tadpoles. Hard to describe again, it's energy. Okay, and they're in the brain and they're building in the brain. They build a lot slower than they do around the spinal column, but they're building. You know, there are reports at the moment of people driving their car and just crashing at the steering wheel. You know, people are kind of going under. Some people are passing back to spirit. Some people are falling very ill. This thing isn't cool. Now, how do you shift this? I'm going to share this with you. This is how I do it. Because I really don't want to go around working on all of these different people that have had it. But I am prepared to share how it's done. And you can go and use this on yourself, family, friends, or you can just share this video with other people. Now, you've got the human being that you're working on, okay? Now, all of the healing that I facilitate is at distance, so I always work on holograms. And what I'll do is I'll bring up the hologram of whoever I'm working on in the empty space, and I will entangle that hologram with their physical body. So the hologram could be a phone. The hologram could be like arms and legs and a body, like an empty vessel, just in the empty space. And I'll entangle the two. Now, once they're entangled, what I'm going to do is I am going to bring all of my frequency, I'm going to turn all of my energy into liquid. Okay, and I'm going to go into their the hologram of their physical body that I've set up over here. The physical body's over here. I'm going to go into this hologram. All of my liquid frequency is going to blend with theirs, and I'm going to set an intention to bring their frequency and their codes back to their original template. Now, it's going to be a bit different to mine because we're all unique. We've all got our own energetic blueprint. But there are some fundamentals within our human DNA, within our human codex. Once you turn yourself and shift yourself to pure liquid energy, you see and feel all of their hologram turn to this liquid frequency, and yours changes theirs at a DNA at a liquid frequency level. And you merge with all of their lights. Now, imagine this hologram is like a container, okay? It's like a jar in a science lab. You see all of that liquid frequency merged together. I then take another hologram or another jar, whatever you wanted to call it. I'd take all of this liquid frequency, I'd pour it out of that hologram and into the other one, okay, which was completely empty. I then spin it like it's in a protein blender. Bzzz, it's flying around and around and just mixing and mixing. I'd leave it for 40 seconds to a minute and blend it all together. Then what I would do is take this and pour it into the hologram of their physical body. And I'd pour it specifically through the crown chakra and down and watch it go through their spinal column. So it would fill up the inside of the spinal column. Then it would start to filter back out through the nervous system and dissolve all of these clusters that are around the spinal column. It will start to reconfigure and reformat their original template. And then you start to see the grayness, it starts to disappear in the field because the energy has shifted massively. Then what you've got to do is you've got to reach out to that kind of quantum hole, the vortex, and you've got to pull that soul essence back through. And I put it all back into the spinal column. The spinal column's like a magic wand. It really is a magic wand. And it just is so phenomenally powerful. So I bring that soul essence back in to the magic wand and then leave it into the spinal column and leave it. And then from there, let it filter out. It will naturally do its own thing. I will bathe the hologram of whoever I'm working on in a chromium frequency. Chromium's the most powerful frequency that I've ever come across. Kaleidoscopic chromium. I've just written about it in my new book, How to Be Superhuman. If you're a member of the Star Magic tribe, you will know all about kaleidoscopic chromium because we use it in our meditations, we use it on our training experiences. We show you how to use it effectively. Within kaleidoscopic chromium, you have every single color range imaginable. An array of pinks, greens, blues, multi-dimensional across 3, 4, 5, 6, 7D. All of the frequency bands, a range, a high frequency color range that is just breathtakingly powerful. So I bathe the hologram of whoever I'm working on in this kaleidoscopic chromium, and I will hold space for them and just let the body reconfigure. This works. If you speak to people that have worked with me after having this done, they will say that it's like I've climbed into their body and I've literally liquefied every cell of them. And they say it's a completely euphoric feeling. And they feel the reconnection afterwards. And they didn't realize there was a disconnection until they felt the reconnection. Because it's very subtle. It's not just like boom, that you've been unplugged. It happens slowly and it phases out. Okay? This injection's nasty. We, the people, however, have the power to shift things back to where they need to be. You, my friends, my sister, my brother, have the power to take charge of your reality, to be a sovereign being. You do not need to say yes to this. You can say no. I've spoke to so many people that say, well, I may not be able to travel. I was with a dear friend a few days ago and she was at my house and I called her a car to take her to the train station. And when the car turned up, it was only the driver that normally takes me to the airport when I'm traveling. And I said, hey bro, how's it going? I said, you haven't had that injection, have you? He looked at me and he said, I have, you know. I said, why? He said, well, you know, they're talking about you not being able to travel and all of this sort of stuff. I said, but they haven't said you can't. He said, yeah, but it might happen. I said, well, why didn't you wait for it to happen and then make that decision? Instead of just buying into the fear now. You see, this is what is gripping people. This is what is getting people. It's the fear, beautiful soul. On one hand, it's very sad. On another hand, it's beautiful. Because everyone's playing their part in this crazy game we call life. And there are some souls that came here to sacrifice themselves through this phase, through this transitionary period. There are other souls that came down to wake other souls up. We're all playing our parts. The question is this. Do you know your power? Do you trust yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you honor and respect yourself? If yes is the answer to those questions, then you know that the injection is a non-starter. You may be one of these people that is telling everyone else all of this information. It's out there, everybody knows. But people don't listen, they take it anyway. They've bought into the fear, they've bought into the lies, they've bought into the manipulation. Sheep. Let them go. Let them walk their path. Not everybody is ready to remember. Not everybody is supposed to live. The truth doesn't give a fuck about your opinion. Wherever you are on this planet, beautiful soul, my love goes out to you. Big galactic brotherly hugs go out to you. I love you so much. Go out into this world and hug your sisters and brothers. Love them fiercely and ferociously. Shine your powerful light. Shine it so bright. The world needs, wants, is expecting the miracles and the magic to shine from your cosmic heart. They're waiting. You came here with incredible gifts. So let them out into this world to uplift and inspire your fellow human family. Dampen that sparkle for no one, beautiful soul. Speak your truth, live your truth, honor yourself. 24/7, 365. We are a human family. Remember to check out our website, starmagichealing.com. We got some of the best healing tools, meditation tools on the planet. I'll see you again real soon. One love, one heart, one human family. Peace out, beautiful soul.